The Universe and Its Stars by Amber Cavazos. The targeted learners are about 30 students aged 15 to 16, mostly sophomores and juniors. The learners have a wide variety of cultural, demographic, economic, and language backgrounds. Most learners are visual learners, but you will also get students who prefer physical movement. Most learners love when technology is integrated into the activities. Some entry skills that learners will have to know is students require some prior knowledge on the universe and some knowledge they learned prior in biology. Students will also need to know how to conduct research when given a specific program. Some of the learner objectives or learning targets are that students will be able to describe the sun and its lifespan by completing research using the Skyview app and various other outside sources with 80% accuracy. The students will be able to pick a star and describe how its color gives us various information about its composition, the way it moves, and its distance from the Earth with 80% accuracy. The students will be able to describe the common features of motions of various orbiting objects, as well as describe what factors may affect the object's orbit with 80% accuracy. For the learning environment, students will work independently, but will be seated at a lab bench next to someone that they can bounce their ideas off of. Students will be allowed to move around the room as long as they are working. I will also be walking around the lab stations to further assist students to check in on students' progress on presentations. Teaching and learning strategies. The model I chose was Gagne's model. I believe that this works best for this unit. His 9 steps are incorporated throughout the 5-day lesson. Gagne's steps include 1. Gain attention. 2. Inform the learner of objectives. 3. Stimulate recall of prerequisite learning. 4. Presenting the stimulus material. 5. Providing learning guidance. 6. Eliciting the performance. 7. Providing feedback. 8. Assessing the performance. And finally 9. Enhancing retention and transfer. On day 1, students will brainstorm things they currently know about the universe, eventually discussing with the person next to them. Once they are done discussing, I will then introduce the Skyview app that students will be using later. I will use both of these strategies to gain the students' attention. Day 1 continued. Next up, I will inform students of objectives for the day's lessons and what I intend students take away from the unit. This was handed to students at the beginning of class and will also be on Google Classroom. This is a part of informing the learner of the objectives. Day 1 continued. The class will then complete an activity where students must sketch out what they currently know about the universe. They can include anything they want in this drawing: stars, planets, meteors, etc. They must include color, and by doing this, students are stimulating recall of prerequisite learning. I will give the students 5 minutes to work on this drawing and collect at the end so that I can see their prior knowledge. Day 1 continued. For the remainder of class, I will give the students a small tutorial on how to use the Skyview app, and will allow them some time to play around with it and familiarize themselves with the new application. This is Gagne's steps presenting the stimulus material. I will go over the Skyview app Lite app. I will show students how to get additional information using the app. I will show them how they can see a constellation, how they can view planets, and also how they can get more information on whatever item they are seeking. Day 2. The students will begin a scavenger hunt in which they begin to familiarize themselves with the Skyview app. They will have to find the 8 planets, 3 constellations, the sun, and at least 1 satellite. At the end of class, I will introduce the main project they will complete over the next 3 days, giving them examples and non-examples, helping to further guide them in completing the presentations. This is a part of Gogni's providing learning guidance. Day 3. Students will continue to use the Skyview app in addition to creating a PowerPoint presentation on a specific planet. They will use the Skyview app to conduct a majority of research. I will also provide some sources if they are having trouble finding information eliciting the performance. This is a part of Gogni's eliciting the performance. As students work on their PowerPoints, I will have the opportunity to walk around the room assisting any students who need further help or further direction. This is a part of Gogni's step providing feedback. For day 4, students will essentially continue working on their presentations from the day before, and they will begin working on the next presentation for constellations. They will continue to use the Skyview app for most of their research. As they finish up their first presentation, I will walk around the room and assist students and this will also allow me the chance to see which students are struggling with material still. This allows me to complete Gogni's step of assessing the performance. On the final day, day 5, they will complete their final presentation on a specific star. By giving the students a creative way to display the information they have learned, and by utilizing technology, my hope is that students will better be able to retain the information so that they can perform well on the next assessment or the short answer multiple choice quiz. This is a part of Gogni's final step, enhancing retention and transfer. The main technology used is going to be the Skyview application. Value is added by allowing students to see celestial bodies in real time so that this way they are able to monitor how the objects are moving. For example, what direction the objects are moving in and at what rate. Other useful technology students will be using is PowerPoint. For mixed ability or differentiation options. For students with special needs, if they are struggling with the activity, things that can help them or assist in their project is reduced load. I can also print out research ahead of time in case they are having trouble finding items within the app. This way, after trying to find the items, they can just have the research available to them. Summative evaluation. To assess students' learning of content, I will be evaluating both their PowerPoint presentations, one on a planet, one on a constellation, and one on a specific star. Additionally, I will be evaluating the students by giving them a short answer multiple choice test that will be given at the end of the unit to assess retention of materials after viewing all of their peers' presentations. These are my references and my resources used within my paper and presentation. Here we have a student artifact. This is for the presentation aspect that they will be completing throughout the 5-day unit. First, they will complete a presentation on planets. Then they will complete a presentation on constellations, and finally they will complete a presentation on a specific star within their constellation. Here are some student handouts. So the first handout is going to be an introductory handout, basically explaining what the students will be completing over the 5-day unit. It also includes the 3 learning objectives so that students are aware and they have this available to look back on at any time they may find necessary. The next student handout I included was the scavenger hunt portion of the 5-day unit. So this shows what questions students will have to find within the Skyview app and what questions they will have to answer in order to move on to the presentation portion. And that concludes my presentation.